Well, Maikako, and good afternoon, everyone. Mahalo for joining today's AEN and PSM joint hearing. It's February 7th, 2025, and we're convened in room 224 and video conferencing, which includes the audio and video of remote participants that's being streamed live on YouTube. In the unlikely event that something happens, we have to stop this hearing, that we will reconvene on Monday, February 10th at 1:01 p.m. during AEN's time slot. And a public notice will be posted on the legislature's website. And because of our 90-minute time limit for hearings, there'll be a 1-minute time limit for all testifiers, and we'll have a virtual countdown timer on the Zoom screen. So first up is SB 762, establishing the Hawaii Ag Crimes Council. Expands the duties of the Department of Ag to collaborate with and support the council, and authorizes the council to withdraw and deposit monies, revenues, and fines into and out of the animal industry special fund. First up is Department of Ag.
Greg Takashima, Pesticides Program Manager with the Department of Ag. The department stands on its written testimony and support. We have if you folks have any questions, we're available. Thank you.
Thank you, Greg. Mike Lambert from DLE.
Good afternoon, chairs and Senator, members of the committee. My name is Jared Redula. I'm the Deputy Director for Law Enforcement. Our testimony is that we very much support any effort like this one to address the problem of agriculture crime. I would like to add to our written testimony this afternoon with one suggestion on this particular bill. With this particular bill, the Agriculture Commission law enforcement officers that are proposed here would not be armed and yet hold all the powers and authority of law enforcement officers. It is our suggestion that the committee and the legislature allow these investigators to be armed. And the reason for that is agriculture crimes investigators can be expected to work late at night in very remote places by themselves, far from backup. They can also be expected to come across people like poachers and thieves and trespassers in these very remote areas. In order for these law enforcement officers to be effective, we would ask that they be allowed to be armed for their protection so that they can effectively enforce the law. Thank you very much for allowing me to testify.
Thank you. Next is Kelsey Nagata or Christopher Leong from the AG's office.
Good afternoon, Deputy Attorney General Travis Moon for Kelsey Nagata. We provided our written testimony previously. I'm available for any questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Hunter Hevelin from Hawaii Farmers Union. In support, Brian Miyamoto, Hawaii Farm Bureau.
Good afternoon, chairs, vice chairs, Senator Rhodes, Brian Miyamoto here on behalf of the Hawaii Farm Bureau. You have our written testimony support. We absolutely support any efforts, as you heard DLE state, that addresses ag crimes. We've been before this body. We've had info briefings on the impact. $14.4 million was the last number. The impact to ag, we believe it's much higher. So again, any effort that the legislature can assist the ag community in addressing ag crimes is needed. Unfortunately, it takes a tragic death like what happened to Cranston Pia to bring this up to the forefront. This and invasive species are problems that are impacting our farmers and ranchers' ability to produce, to meet our double food production goals, to meet our farm to school and other institutional purchasing goals. Again, we appreciate the legislative support in any effort to help combat agricultural crimes. The Hawaii Farm Bureau is 100% behind. Aloha.
Thank you, Brian. Next is Alton Salcido. Austin.
Committee, excuse me. I couldn't have my wife also be appointed. Somehow had that computer glitch. Would you mind allowing my wife as well to provide testimony? There's a computer glitch in the system. I appreciate it.
All right.
Hello, all senators. My name is Austin Salcido, and I fully support Senate Bill 762 in its entirety, except some paragraphs on page 5, line 17, and page 6 down to line 7. given the authority, full authority for a governor to appoint as he designates to be qualified. I think this thing should be collaboratively with the district elected officials and the community neighborhood boards, because they are fully aware of all the chaos that's occurring, especially on the west side of Oahu. I'm an ag landowner, and we've been tremendously involved with murders, killing our livestock because of unethical hunters poaching and their dogs, dangerous dogs, coming on our properties and eliminating our produce, our animals, more so our pets. We had 4 milking goats last year got murdered. I mean, slaughtered by dogs, hunting dogs, feral dogs. I wouldn't say feral, they're hunting dogs. Normal dogs do not do that. It's been trained to kill. Okay?
Thank
So
you for your-
I support that. Thank you so very much.
Thank you.
Aloha, Kalei Saucedo. I'm also from the west side, Kehau, in Makahasai. I support Bill 762 on one condition, amendments on page 517. I don't think it should be where the governor appointed. I think it should be the community legislatures in each district with the community board members. The reason I'm saying this, I have brought issues up. Look at this picture very well. Years I brought issues up about the unsafe condition. It was not taken seriously. I have the Pala paperwork showing that. His last words to me, I'm worried about my mom, Auntie. I am here, not for myself, but for the generation to come. I'm a rancher. I farm goats. I used to raise pepe, cows, and all that with my parents. What is it going to take? I do want law enforcement. HPD is overwhelmed. We've been fighting for the change from the previous 6 to 8 years, and I do not want the governor to point the same old where it fell upon blind eyes and deaf ears. Please hear my plea.
Thank you. Thank you, Ken.
The generation is in your hands. Future generation need to be protected. Mahalo.
Anyone else wishing to testify on this measure?
Yes, there's a testifier on Zoom.
Okay. That's Shelby Picacho, billionaire.
Yee-hoo! Uncle Mike, can you hear me?
Aloha, yeah.
Hey, aloha, guys. Thank you all for listening. So I looked over the bills. You guys seen my testimony in support. I ran it through AI, but I went through page 5, article line 17. It shows that we don't trust Governor Josh Green to appoint them. He might appoint Cedric Gig or someone else, but you're dealing with real criminals from the Sinaloa, Jalisco, KGB, and the cartels. They don't give a rip what you're doing, and we can't just have one officer, like Dole said, in the boonies by Makaha by himself in the middle of the night. These guys come with trucks, rifles, fully loaded to gut pigs, kill pigs. Some people died. They got shot in their shoulder because they're trying to cut down papaya trees. So there's no real enforcement. I know Senator Richards got his prize horse stolen on the Big Island. Big Island's even worse, where we're looking at how we're going to capture these bad guys and these evil villains, because Big Island, they're super hobos. They'll take your stuff, use or rob another car, and they'll do it again. And we definitely need backup. So I do support the bill, but definitely change the amendments for the appointment. I'd rather they use the neighborhood boards. So if the community has a complaint in Kalihi, Waianae, Diamond Head, it should go to the neighborhood board contacts their rep and center and goes up the chain of command to you guys. And they should definitely be part of the process. I told Philip Ganaban, I also called Samantha the court's office, and we're all in agreement. So I support your guys' decision, but definitely make amendments to control this and do it better with the community and you guys all working collaboratively together. And I want
Thank
them
you
to
very
account
much.
you guys. Thank you.
Mahalo. Anyone else wishing to testify on this measure, either online or in person? Members, any questions?
Question, Chair.
Senator Richards?
DLE.
Yes, sir.
Identify yourself for the record.
Sir, I'm Jared Riddle. I'm the Deputy Director for State Law Enforcement.
Yeah, thank you, Jared. We have several initiatives coming forward. DLE, there's something coming through for DLE concerning agricultural crimes. There's this one. We have things that are working on with the Attorney General's office. I agree with what you're saying as far as arming. I see a collaborative effort of these different bills probably being combined. What's your thoughts on that?
Yes, sir. That's a great idea. I think that's one that the DLE would certainly support. And there are very good parts of all of these bills.
Okay, thank you. And I'm very sensitive to what our testifiers have said because we got to get stuff done. But we've got to find the best way to get it done. So thank you, Chair. Appreciate
Okay.
that.
Question, Chair.
Senator DeCourt?
Jared, the bill actually, so the bill doesn't allow for firearms to be carried. Do you find that to be a problem?
Yes, Senator. I described to the committee earlier the hazard of that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thinks they should be on.
Thank you so much. I apologize for coming in late. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, moving on to the next measure, SB 763, relating to the Department of Law Enforcement, establishing the Agriculture Enforcement Program within the Department of Law Enforcement, establishes the Ag Enforcement Special Fund. First up is Department of Ag.
The department stands on its written testimony and support. Available for questions.
Thank you. DLE.
Sir, the department stands on its testimony and support.
Thank you. Hunter Hevelin from Hawaii Farmers Union. In support, Brian Miyamoto, Hawaii Farm Bureau.
Thank you, Chair. The Hawaii Farm Bureau will stand on its written testimony in support. And if I may, Chair, I just want to commend DOE for their involvement in ag crimes and the leadership and support that they can give the ag community. Aloha.
Thank you. Austin Salcido.
Again, and also I involve my wife as a registrar, just recording done.
Yes, okay.
Hello, my name is Austin Salcedo. I fully support Senate Bill 763. The LE is well-deserved for the recognition and funding. For DLNR, I have opposing and protesting measures against them for years. They've been informed of all the issues that's been coming up, and I believe DLE will be doing a very, very good job. I fully support Senate Bill 763.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Aloha, once again, I support
State your
the,
name, please.
Kalei Salcedo. I support Bill 763. I do have faith in our state law enforcement because when HPD was called many times, we did not get any response, nothing at all. And I did get the department, law enforcement came to address the issues we was having. But like I said, I am here for the safety of our community. I am here for his mother and generation safety to come. I am not here just to play around. I am here for a change. I do not want the same old that we had that lost a life. How many more lives? That's all I have to say. It's time for action and protect the agriculture. We're the self-sustainable. We're feeding our families. We cannot allow poachers to come in. We cannot allow animal aiding and abetting of agriculture crimes.
Thank you, Mrs. Salcedo. Mr. Billionaire, Pikachu Billionaire.
All right, Shelby Pikachu Billionaire back again. I do support 763. If you guys see my written testimonial, people don't know, I'll just read it. You guys know the strengths already. I do feel there's areas for enhancement/improvement, such as the funding precision to make sure you avoid underfunding. The bill should clarify exact appropriation amounts. Also, your volunteer framework should have comprehensive guidelines to how they're going to undergo the training. I definitely expect interagency coordination between the protocols, DOE, DLNR, 911, because you got city and county, you got state, you got private property. DOE doesn't really care because they don't have enough manpower. You guys know the story. There should definitely be some metrics and audits for performance evaluation so you guys know what's going down so you can track and measure stuff. You definitely need some technological adoption, specific measures that you're going to use drones, how you're going to measure this stuff. You can't have cameras everywhere. You can use the Air Force, the military, and I definitely expect more community engagement to be proactive, utilize the neighborhood boards, going up to their reps and senators, like Chris Moroka, Samantha the Court for me, Andrew Topolo for city. It should be going up through that chain to you guys. And examples of this stuff were programs in the states like California have shown that with targeted enforcement, community involvement, technology, and agricultural crimes.
Thank you, Pikachu. Your time's up.
by
Thank you.
25%.
Mahalo.
Very much. Aloha.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to testify on SB 763? Members, any questions? Hearing none, moving on to SB 1022, relating to animal endangerment, prohibits intentionally leaving or confining pet animals in a vehicle under conditions that endanger their health, safety, or well-being. Allows law enforcement officers, animal control officers, and firefighters to enter an unattended vehicle to protect the health, safety, or well-being of a pet animal that is endangered by being left or confined in an unattended vehicle. Allows private citizens to rescue a pet animal that has been left in an unattended vehicle under certain circumstances. First up is the AG's Attorney General.
Good afternoon, Chair, Vice Chair, members of the committee. Deputy Attorney General Mark Tom for the department. Department just provides comments on Senate Bill 1022. Currently, the department believes that the statutes that are in the HRS at this point cover situations like this as intended in this bill, specifically Hawaii Revised Statutes 711, 1109, which is animal cruelty in the second degree, except that charge right now in the HRS has broader language than what is in this bill at this point. So I think that might cover this and a variety of other situations that may arise. We did provide also some amendments in our testimony. I will be here to answer any questions. Thank you.
Great, thank you very much. Next is Shelley Paiva from the Honolulu Police Department. HPD is opposed. Anyone else wishing to testify on this measure?
Good afternoon, Chair, Vice Chair, and committee members. My name is Michael Campbell. I'm sitting in for Major Paiva. We are opposed. We submitted testimony. I'm here to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you very much, Michael. Anyone else? Ms. Salcedo?
Aloha, this is Kale Saucero again. Like I said, HPD cannot be the overwhelmed, the short-handed. Law enforcement has the men, the power. What's wrong about collaboration? You all gotta play nice in a sandbox. It's not about power. It's about the safety of the community. It's about the safety. We've been asking for help. It's about agriculture crime that's continued repeating itself.
Okay, we're on to the next measure. Are you
Yes.
speaking to SB?
Yeah, no, but the
1022.
SB, but like I said, they are against the bill, but like I said, it's a collaboration that should be all together. It's not just one-sided, okay? They need to think about the safety,
Thank you.
whether they're against it or not.
Anyone else on SB 1022? Members, any questions?
Questions for the AG, Chair?
Okay.
Hi, happy Aloha Friday, Deputy Attorney Tom. I don't know if you had an opportunity to look at HPD's testimony. Did you? Have an
I didn't
opportunity?
get to review exactly all the specifics in it, but I do have a copy of it.
Do you have a response to that?
I would have to review it and I can try to have a response, but just quickly looking at it, it's that it might prohibit them from enforcing property crimes. I think based on our testimony, it's a little aligned as well, because what our testimony and suggestions that we provide in our testimony is that if you remove that criminal offense that's in there, but take some of the remaining sections, subsections in, I believe, 3 to put it into 2, that might be, that might assist. So I can't say with certainty until I review it, but our suggestion would be similar in that we're requesting that new criminal section be taken out, as we are already using existing statutes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Chair, Chair, quick question.
Yes.
Mr. Tom.
Tom, sorry, please. So what would happen if someone would break into the vehicle to rescue an animal? What happens if the animal runs away when the door is open? Is that person liable under this law?
I would have to check with our civil division. That's not my specialty, but I can check on that, Senator, follow up and provide you with an answer offline.
That'll be super helpful.
I definitely will,
Because I
thank
see
you.
plenty of them in the car, or they go shopping, and then they forget the animal, yeah.
Understood. I will jot that down when I sit down, and I will make sure to follow up with the civil division.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chair.
Okay. Anyone else? Yeah, okay.
Senator Rhodes.
All right, we'll go into the decision-making on, I think we have quorum. You have quorum?
I have one. Okay, it's Carl. Okay.
On SB 762,
Both you guys are on agriculture. Okay. Thank you. So yes, thank you for. Yeah.
okay. On SB 762, the recommendation will be to pass with the amendments from the Department of Ag and the following amendments from the AG's office, allowing designees, representatives of the members to serve in place of the member, also clarifying that the member shall be appointed by the governor, amending section 4 as follows, and I'm sorry, this was not in testimony, so it came in as a memo, so I'm going to have to read it out. It's wordy. Section 4, the council shall appoint and commission one or more investigators as required to investigate agricultural crimes. Persons appointed and commissioned under this section may exercise all the powers and authority of a law enforcement officer, provided that the person so appointed and commissioned shall not carry any firearms. In addition to enforcing Title 11 and rules adopted thereunder, the investigators may enforce all other state laws and rules and county ordinances within all lands of the state, provided that such powers shall remain in force and effect only while in the actual performance of their duties, which shall include off-duty employment when such employment is for other state departments or agencies. An investigator appointed under this section shall focus their efforts on agricultural crimes and work with the counties as partners to address and prevent agricultural crime on a state and local basis. Section B, an investigator upon arresting any person for violation of Title 11, any rule adopted thereunder, or any other state law or rule may immediately take the person arrested to a police station or before a district judge or take the name, address, and the number of the fishing, hunting, or other licenses or permits, if any of the person, and note the violation of the law or rule by the person, and issue the person a summons or citation printed in the form described in section 142-30, warning the person to appear and to answer the charge against the person at a certain place and time within 30 days after the arrest. And then in C, section C, investigators appointed under subsection A shall, 5, enforce Title 11 and rules adopted thereunder, investigate complaints, gather evidence, conduct investigations, and conduct field observations and inspections as required or assigned, cooperate with enforcement authorities of the state, counties, and federal government in development of programs and mutual aid agreements for agricultural activities within the state, check and verify all leases, permits, and licenses issued by the Department of Agriculture, carry out other duties and responsibilities as the Agricultural Crimes Council from time to time may direct. And under D, section D, every state and county officer charged with the enforcement of laws and ordinances shall assist in the enforcement of Title 11 and rules adopted thereunder. And there are also some tech amendments, and we will be blanking the appropriation amounts, inserting it into the committee report, and also defecting the date to July 1st, 2050. Okay, so with the, for AEN, any discussion? Chair votes aye. Vice Chair Richards.
On subject matter, Senate Bill 762, passing with amendments, Chair votes aye, Vice Chair votes aye. Senator DeCoit?
Aye.
Senator Rhodes?
Aye.
Senator Awa?
No.
Chair, you have 4 in favor. Motion is adopted.
Thank you, members.
Okay, same recommendation for the Committee on Public Safety and Military Affairs. to pass SB 762 with amendments. Acting Vice Chair Rhodes. Chair votes aye.
Chair's recommendation on SB 762 is to pass with amendments. Chair Elefante votes yes. Vice Chair Wakai is excused. Senator Fukunaga is also excused. I'll vote yes. Senator DeCourt?
No.
No. Recommendations adopted.
Okay, and thank you. And for those who are not familiar with the process, if you did not get amendments that you wanted added to this bill will now move on to the WAM JDC committee, where you'll have an opportunity to testify again. Okay. Next is SB 763, relating to Department of Law Enforcement, establishing the agriculture enforcement program within the Department of Law Enforcement. The chair's recommendation will be to pass with an amendment to defect the date to July 1st, 2050. Any discussion? Chair votes aye. Vice Chair?
On Senate Bill 763, passing this amendment, Chair votes aye, Vice Chair votes aye. Senator DeCourt?
Aye.
Senator Rhodes?
Aye.
Senator Awa? Aye. Chair, you have 5 in favor. Motion is adopted.
Thank you.
Same recommendation for the Committee on Public Safety and Military Affairs to pass with amendments on SB 763. Chair votes aye. Acting Vice Chair Rhodes.
Chair's recommendation on SB 763 is to pass with amendments. Chair Elefante votes aye. Senator Wakai is excused. Senator Fukunaga is excused. I'll vote yes. Senator DeCourt?
Aye.
Recommendations adopted.
Thank you.
And the final measure on the 1 o'clock agenda, SB 1022, prohibiting the intentional leading or confining of pet animals in a vehicle under conditions that endanger their health, safety, or well-being. The chair's recommendation will be to pass with tech amendments. Any discussion? Chair votes aye.
Senate Bill 1022, passing with amendments. Chair votes aye, Vice Chair votes aye. Senator DeCourt?
Aye.
Senator Rhodes?
Aye.
Senator Awa?
No.
Chair, you have 4 in favor. Motion is adopted.
Thank you, members.
Okay, and same recommendation for the Committee on Public Safety and Military Affairs to pass with amendments. Chair votes aye. Acting Vice Chair Rhodes.
Chair's recommendation on SB 1022 is to pass with amendments. Chair Elefante votes aye. Vice Chair Wakai is excused. Senator Fukunaga is excused. I'll vote yes. Senator DeCourt?
No.
No. Recommendations adopted.
Thank you.
Thank you, members, and that concludes the 1 o'clock agenda. Adjourned. Welcome to the 101 agenda for AEN. We have 3 measures on this agenda. SB 1015 is relating to transportation, requires self-service stations to put Public Utilities Commission-approved labels on gas dispensing equipment to advise consumers on the effects of fossil fuel consumption to human health and the environment. And first up is Sharon Hurd, Department of Ag.
Good afternoon, Chair, Senators. Greg Takashima here, Pesticides Program Manager representing the Department of Agriculture. The department stands on its written testimony, available for questions. Thank you.
Comments, okay. Next is Public Utilities Commission, Leo Asuncion.
Hi, Abby Austin with the Public Utilities Commission. I stand on the written testimony of the commission providing comments, and I'm available for any questions.
Thank you very much. Richard Cohen, also from the Department of Ag.
Hello, Chair, Vice Chair. We're just standing on our written testimony. I'm here to answer questions from the Measurement Standards Branch if it's necessary.
Thank you, Richard. Next is Myung Oh from the Hawaii Energy Marketers Association.
Good afternoon, Chair, Senators. Myung Oh here on behalf of Hawaii Energy Marketers Association. We respectfully oppose this measure. Fuel dispensing labels clearly communicate critical operational and safety needs, whether it's no smoking, age use restriction, and other safety requirements. We believe that to effectively communicate environmental disclosure, it should start in the classroom. I mean, that is where I think we believe will be much more effective. they can volunteer, start at a young age, rather than a label at basically a gas pump. So for these reasons, we ask you for your deferral. Thank you.
Thank you, Myung. Anyone else wanting to testify on SB 1015? Members, any questions? Moving on to SB 1304, relating to pesticide drift monitoring, appropriating funding to the Department of Ag to continue the statewide pesticide drift monitoring study. Department of Ag?
Greg Takashima, Pesticides Program Manager. The department does stand on its written testimony in strong support of this measure. I do want to reiterate that the department is required to complete this drift monitoring project in regards to a notification and a consent agreement that the department and the US EPA have together. So that's why we're coming to you folks to ask for further appropriation to finish up this project. Thank you.
Thank you. Mayor Bisson from Maui is in support. Ann Frederick from HAPA, Hawaii Alliance for Progressive Action.
Hello, Chair, Vice Chair, members of the committee. Ann Frederick on behalf of the Hawaii Alliance for Progressive Action with comments. So the only thing I just wanted to draw the committee's attention to was we were a little bit concerned about who actually conducts the study. There was a consultant through the university that was hired to conduct an error sampling study back in, which was released in 2013. And there were some pretty significant concerns with the methodology and the findings of that study being unsupported. In particular, I'd just like to draw your attention to, there is an appendix, a memo from a retired EPA pesticide violation investigator, Milt Clark, at the end, in the appendix of the Joint Fact-Finding Group study, basically that just takes issues with the findings of that study and highlight some of the concerns about the methodology and the testing.
Thank you, Ann.
Thank you.
Your time's up. Okay, anyone else wishing to testify? Oh, we have Clayton Kubo on Zoom. Clayton, are you here? Go ahead, Clayton.
I just want to address this with you guys today, okay? This measure is very important. Funds be needed. And on Wednesday, February 5th, I was driving home on Kamwali Highway, okay? This is pertaining to buffer zones now. So February 5th, about a little after 4 p.m., driving through between Kamakani and Makawili. I was on the phone talking with a friend on a Hawaii island, and then I was inundated in my cab with chemical odor. First I had looked to my left, I saw a nitro sprayer spraying. I don't go around driving around and looking for this kind of stuff.
Clayton,
Just
I'm
minding my own
sorry,
business
your
on
time's up,
Wednesday,
Clayton.
February
Look,
5th.
Clayton, I'm sorry, your time.
Please do something
thank you very
about
much.
this.
Okay, anyone else wishing to testify on SB 1304? Members, any questions?
Question, Chair. DOA.
Senator Rico.
Thank you. So what have your studies to date found regarding pesticides drift near schools?
So the study currently is in its early phases. The contractor, who is the University of Hawaii College of Tropical Agriculture and Human Resilience, they have thus far set up the protocols to do the sampling. They've also purchased the equipment. They've got a couple of people on board to start helping with the drift monitor or the monitoring itself. So we don't actually have that type of the report itself to provide any information. The previous study that and kind of alluded to was done prior to me being at the department. I can look into it for you and provide you more of that information and the actual report.
And then, how big of a problem is pesticide drift in your schools? I know Kauai, they had a lot of problems.
Yeah, so in fact, last year, the department actually did a complaint investigation for the island of Kauai. It was further up the road towards Kilauea. The department was notified that there was a potential drift application. There was a school involved. The teachers had notified us that there was, some feeling of unease and a little bit of sickness, a little bit of smelling. Our investigator went out there. They took the information from all of the teachers. They took the information from some of the students. They also reached out to the applicator. So the applicator, we believe, was the, the Department of Transportation, Highways Division. What we found out, though, was that DOT's people were almost 3/4 of a mile upwind. So it was not specifically DOT or the application that made them sick. We weren't sure what actually happened, but we did verify, right? We took samples that drift or that application didn't occur. The drift didn't occur.
So where did the drift come from?
So the samples showed up that there was no pesticidal drift. There may have been something else that had affected them, but we are not sure. We definitely know it wasn't pesticides. We actually screen for about, I think it's 290 active ingredients when we do our lab surveys. So we are very sure that it wasn't a pesticide.
Well, does Department of Health ever get involved at any point? Because I would think that if the kids and the teacher got sick, it's a Department of Health issue at that point if you guys cannot isolate out the pesticide.
Yes, so we do refer especially when there's people who are getting sick, we refer our investigations and all of our findings over to the HERE office, the Hazard Evaluation and Emergency Response Office. We have very good communication with them, and they are notified when we get our information over.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, thank you. Okay, moving on to anyone else wanting to testify on this measure? I think we're done with that. SB 500 relating to coffee labeling, clarifying the labeling and advertising requirements for coffee that is grown and processed in the state, defines regional origin, Department of Ag.
The department stands on its written testimony available for comment.
In support, okay. Julian, that's it. Anyone else wishing to testify on this measure, either online or in person? Members, any questions? Okay, we shall move into decision-making then. Starting off with SB 1015, labels on gas dispensing equipment. Chair's recommendation will be to pass as is. Any discussion? Who's taking the vote? Senator Rhodes?
I'm sorry, I missed the recommendation.
On 1015, the chair's recommendation is to pass as is.
As is, okay. Chair's recommendation, SB 1015, is to pass as is.
Chair votes
Gabbard
aye.
votes aye. Vice Chair is excused. Senator Coit.
Aye.
I'll vote yes. Senator Waugh.
No.
No. Recommendation's adopted.
Thank you, members. On SB 1304, related to pesticide drift monitoring, Chair's recommendation will be to pass with tech amendments. Any discussion? Chair votes aye.
Chair's recommendation on SB 1304 is to pass with amendments. Chair Gabbard votes yes. Vice Chair Richards is excused. Senator Coit.
Aye.
I'll vote yes. Senator Awa. Aye. Recommendation's adopted.
Thank you, members. And then as far as SB 500 on coffee labeling, the chair's recommendation will be to pass with the Department of Ag's amendments. Any discussion? Chair votes aye.
Chair's recommendation on SB 500 is passed with amendments. Chair Gabbard votes yes. Senator Richards is excused. Senator Coit.
Aye.
I'll vote yes. Senator Wah. Aye. Recommendation's adopted.
Thank you, members. That concludes the 101 agenda. Okay, calling to order the 1:03 PM AEN decision-making on one item, SB 1185, establishes within the Department of Agriculture a working group to review and make recommendations on amending or repealing unnecessary or obsolete laws pertaining to agriculture. Okay, 1185. Okay, members, the chair's recommendation will be to pass with amendments to include the Hawaii Farmers Union in the working group and to defect the date to July 1st, 2050. Any discussion? Chair votes aye.
Chair's recommendation on SB 1185 is to pass with amendment. Chair Gabbard votes yes. Vice Chair Richards is excused. Senator Decoit.
Aye.
I'll vote yes. Senator Wah. Aye. Recommendation's adopted.
Thank you, members, and that concludes the 103 agenda. Okay, hello again. Calling to order the 105 agenda for AEN. And let's see, on this decision-making, let's see. Oh, yes, we're still working on this bill, so we're going to have to defer decision-making until Monday, February 10th at 1:01 PM here in room 224. And that concludes the 105 agenda.